split between multiple units by how many assessments there are within each unit. That was my understanding when we asked this question of her once before. But,
We don't pay any comp or anything for her, so.
well, the interesting piece is we're paying FICA and we're paying Medicare.
Well, it's coming out of, probably coming out of her paycheck, I don't know.
But that still
That
indicates
means
she's
she's a
an employee.
W-2 employee.
So if we're paying that to her, then that changes everything.
When you're a 1099 employee, it's referenced as you pay the taxes. No. Yeah,
Yes.
the employee pays their own taxes when they're a 1099.
Yep.
A W-2, we pay the taxes.
Half of them. Right, you split it down the middle.
Well, on Medicare, but on state or federal.
Oh, you're saying actually physically paying, not who's responsible. Got you, I apologize.
Well, at 7:00 you can ask Greg. He can tell you what, I don't think she's getting a 1099 though. Well, we gave her a pay hike here a couple, 3 years ago, and we haven't given her anything since,
Yeah.
so.
No, I get it. I'm just, well, how about this? I'm not getting it. I'm trying to get it. There we go. That would be the proper phrase.
I can safely tell you that we probably won't, or I won't see it, but when she retires, there probably won't be anybody to replace her. There's nobody in the system. Nobody in college, nobody anywhere, gonna be assessors.
So the government will just take it over basically because they're trying to get to a flat tax anyway.
Right.
So before you know it, you know, Washington's working on what they consider to be.
She's been in the business 16 years, and last year she had to take the test twice, because the test is getting so hard.
Well, Bangor Township just hired a part-time assessor.
Yep, and she just gave up 2 townships, so I don't know which one she gave up, but.
Probably the furthest out one, it makes it pretty hard, would be over where she's at, and then some of those that are way on the north county line.
She's moving to up north of Hale.
Oh, so she'd actually keep the northern one and get rid of the southern one. I don't know.
Well, we're all here,
That's an even better question.
so I guess, where would you like to start?
That one
Page
change that I asked you to make on page 7, you just put it on the wrong line.
Page 7.
So line 4, for professional contractual services, I think should still be 500 like it was, but the next line down, the 1,500 should be the 5,000.
Page 7, and what are you talking
For the
about?
software and support for the fire department.
Page 7.
Line 4, where it says 5,000,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah.
that should still be 500.
No.
The 5,000 should be in the next line where it says 1,500. The software and support is the one we wanted to bump up.
Because it's costing a lot of money, we just seen that in, yeah, that new program was what, 35 or 3,700? That was just one program.
Yeah.
So software support should be 1,500,
No, it should be 5,000.
5,000.
I mean, the last bill we got was.
Oh, in the professional contractor should be 1,500.
All right, so we
Yeah,
want to put
those
that
two
back
should
to
be switched.
500.
5,000 should be 500,
Right.
and the 1,500 should be 5,000.
Okay.
Okay. That's easy to change.
I was still doing that little comparison. I didn't know they did fresh ones.
So 1,500 becomes 5,000. Melissa?
Yeah, yeah.
That department goes down by 1,000?
Maybe 205 we were just talking about?
Yeah. Cause if we went to 5.5, that saves us,
Yeah.
oh, why don't we, might as well just go back to the page 2 again. So, office help was $36.39. Then it ballooned to $9,223. The original budget was $5,000. And my question is,
Now, don't ask the same question that we did last week, because we're the ones that changed it back to 7,500 last week, if I recall. I'll have to go in the office and get the change. On page 2. At the top.
Alright,
Because we
So-
spread the office help around,
I know that.
and we took, I think we took 2,000 out of that, to
well,
bring it to 7,500.
when we originally talked about it, it had gone from 5,000 to, oh, now it got me twisted. From 5,000 to 8,000, and then there was also 2,500 added out of the building fund, because you guys said that Shirley was doing a lot of work for the building department. So this one went up 3,000, plus the building department went up 2,500. So what we had agreed to was to take it down to 5,500 in that initial conversation we had about it. And this budget that was originally sent to us actually reflected that and said 5,500 under office help, under township board. The new one that was printed today is back up to 7,500.
I can't be, because I didn't go back and change anything.
But it was never 7,500 before, it was 8,000, then it was 5,500, now it's 7,500.
Let me get my paperwork.
That's why I have some other one that's 13.
Yeah, I got 55 on my paperwork, and I went back through and changed all those. So I don't know how it got back to 75. What the heck? I even checked it off that I went
So what
through and
are-
done it.
Yeah, and the one that you emailed, it was done, that's weird.
Yeah, so let's look down, is my $550 in there?
So this is.
Yeah, that's in there.
Just to confirm, so that's at what amount again?
5,500 instead of 75.
See, I think because office help is here and in so many other places, it's in the building department, it's here, if you actually add up,
It's only in the 2 spots, right? The building and township board. Are the only 2 office helps that I can find.
There was one under the assessor too.
Yep,
Oh,
extra
yeah,
office
that's right.
help is in there.
Yes, but that's,
Well,
well, kind of what I was trying to figure out is if we work, if the office person
Yeah, we had
works
2,000
7 hours
under the assessor.
a week, times 52 weeks is 364, that'd be $5,642. Shirley works 1 day a week. If it's a true blue, then I know that if there's a shortage of money in clerks, then we take money from office help because they're doing certain office duties, and just like we just said, and I guess the big thing is Shirley, and if that's basically Shirley's department, she was working yesterday diligently with building stuff, so there's another 2,500 right there.
The
So,
one for Joan, I know sometimes Joan gets her own help. I don't know
Yeah,
how
but
often
she hasn't used this, other than
Right.
Judy's working with her.
Right.
And I guess that was something that before everybody was at the table, that Charlie brought up. She is a W-2, right? Joan is a
Yeah.
W-2 employee.
W-2 employee, not a 1099.
No, she gets a payroll check, not an AP check.
Right.
She's on the payroll.
So
yes.
that's the FICA and the Medicare that we were
So
talking
she's
about.
a comp employee too. 50 grand worth for comp.
I don't see where we pay comp insurance out of hers. There's no category in here for comp.
Well, because it seems to be that comp, most, and the majority of it comes out of the township board versus anywhere else.
Well, she's a township employee, that's probably where her comp would have to come out of, right?
But considering the fact that she has a different setup everywhere she goes, you know, how is she our employee, but then she's contractual in other townships and you don't necessarily know whose work she's doing if we're the ones that are actually covering her. If we're, you know, paying the bill for her to have comp insurance and she's out doing stuff for multiple different townships and she's a 1099 with them where she would have to carry her own, but she has it from us that we pay for. I mean, that really gets very muddy there as far as
Well, I
what
think
our
originally
responsibility
she
is.
had, I mean, and then I don't know for sure, but I know in the beginning, her call-in day was Monday. So even though she's not here on Monday, her day, I think is still Monday, even though she's at home. Cause I mean, you can go in and log on her computer on Monday, and it's connected to her at home, and you can see that she's working. So Monday is supposed to be her call-in day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she has, you know, like Tuesday is, you know,
So do we pay comp on her?
On her,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, yeah, it's just under, you know, our regular office, so I don't know if we're paying it on her or not. It's not broke down as to who we're paying it on.
Is it broke down by the price per thousand?
It's
What
broke
we're
down,
paying?
it's broke down by, like, one up here under the 101 for office, I mean, it's not broke down individually who gets what. It just broke, that's how they always put it. The only ones that are broke out are the fire department, they have their own category.
So
The
then how?
hall custodian has his own category,
In the cemetery.
but now he may be getting his own comp, I don't know, because before it was never under 1099, it was always under W-2.
For the last one, before that.
Well, has he been given a deadline to get that by?
Pardon?
It's a pretty easy thing to get, so has he been given a deadline to get it done?
So, I mean, I told him that, you know, he'll probably need to get comp, but I have, you know,
Because if we're doing the budget right now, that would seem like an ideal time. You know, it starts
well, he's
April
gonna be
1st,
gone
it's
for
a-
2 weeks, so
it's a phone
we ain't
call,
gonna
you know?
see it
it's a
before the
phone
budget
call
gets
to get
done.
liability. It's really very, very simple, you can even get it online. When it's just a general liability, very easy to do.
He's gone, he left this afternoon. But this is insurance comp hall. Do we have to carry compensation on the hall for any other reason?
No.
No, it's just him for insurance comp.
So his comp is costing us just under 10% of his wages.
Well, I can tell you exactly what I charged the hall, I got it all broke down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just looking at the numbers here, it's probably just under. It's probably,
Well, if we don't use it, it's,
Last year was $900, $912 what was charged out for the hall.
so for every $10,000 of wages, we're paying $9.09%.
Probably. I think it's broke down to about the way I have it, that we bill it out is like about 6%, I think, for the hall. I think, that's what we bill. I don't know, I got it wrote down, I can go get it if you want it.
No, I'm just wondering, because I sat back down and I looked over some of these things and, you know, just in the top category, you know, we can look at about $9,000 in savings.
Where?
Well, like, once again, I said, office help.
Well, that's supposed to be 55. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it went back to 75 even. I don't know.
You know, even though we have that in there, that's not saying we're gonna use it all either.
Yeah.
Well, be that as it may, I mean, because of all the changes that occurred in the staffing of the office in the last budget year,
We
it's
paid-
been charged $9,200.
We paid
So,
more for miscellaneous office in the last year when you take all the little areas that it was pulled out of. If we would have, just for simplicity, if the budget said it was 25,000, we spent 50. And we just pulled it a little bit from here and a little bit from there to make sure we had all the money we needed. And all I'm saying now is, I think if we go back, if we're gonna take money out of the building department and bring it for office help, what you just said, $5,500, you got 2,500 back there, you put 3,000 here, that's $5,500 for office help.
No. We put office help in the building, right?
yes.
Okay. So we're gonna bill some of the office help out of the building fund.
Yeah, that's
$2,500
not an
is what it
argument.
says.
I don't think anybody has an argument with pulling some of the office help
So
out of that.
we're bringing that
department.
money out, and if we're bringing that out, then over here, this amount should be 3,000, that makes a grand total of 5,500 for the year for office help.
It won't cover it. It won't cover it.
5,500 won't cover it?
For Shirley,
If she works 7 hours, that's $5,642.
7 hours a week, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because the problem is, so we put 5,500 here, we got 25 there, so now we're at $8,000 for office help.
Yeah, because that's exactly what we did. We put 2,500 into the building fund, and we took money out of this one. Because this was, what was it? It was 8,000 before we brought it down to 55.
So what we're saying is then we can fund at 516 hours. And if we take 516 hours divided by an average work week of 1 day, and that is going to lunch, so that's a 7-hour work day. See, that's kind of the glitch. Because at that point, she could work for 73 weeks.
So what you're saying is, if we deduct this all back down to what you want, once we get that number, we just don't do any more office help, right? That's basically what you're trying to say.
Yeah, you can't cut this that close.
That's
This person
basically what
doesn't
you're
cut
trying,
that
because we
close.
never know how much we're gonna have for office help. We put it
We
in,
don't have no-
we put it in there just in case. We don't always use it all, it's just in case. So, I mean, if we don't have it, then we gotta pull it from someplace else.
And we've always been able to pull it from
We
somewhere.
have.
I'm just saying, why don't we
That's
So
try
why
to
do we
have,
have to pull from someplace else if we already have it there?
Yes,
Even if we don't use it?
my goal has always been
to fully fund each department?
to fully fund each department. So we don't have to move money around all the time to make,
Here's a little bit of the,
and we're arguing about the
No.
same thing we talked about last Wednesday. Because we took that same account and dropped it from 8,000 to 55.
so $5,500 for office help. Because you said we can take the 2,500 out of the building department. So if I take the 25 from the building and 3,000, that's $5,500. And that's what we're saying.
No. We dropped it from 8,000
You see,
to
here's,
55, and then we put 25 of the 8,000 in the building fund. drop it. Yes, I'm not arguing that we didn't drop it.
Well, technically, we didn't drop it, because we got 2,500 over there, we got 55 over here, that's $8,000.
Okay, so the 2,500 was in the building department before. It was bumped up to 8,000 in office help here.
So that's
So we took it
10,005.
back, right, so we took it back to 5,500. Now, of course, when we had this draft, for some reason it said 7,500.
Yeah,
When
I
we
don't
thought
know
like
what
it got
that
bumped up
was.
again. But that said, this office help, it's not only paying Shirley, right?
No, this office help is paying, like if for some reason we get a lot of FOIAs and we gotta pull a bunch of paperwork out of the different places, sometimes Molly helps her, sometimes Sherry helps her.
But I don't typically see that broken up.
See, Molly and Sherry are both paid out of the clerk and deputy supervisor. One is a deputy clerk, one's a supervisor, with allotted funds in those departments. And then when those departments run out,
But last year you said, do not pay Molly for helping on the elections out of deputy supervisor or deputy clerk, pay her out of office help.
but we don't have an election this year.
Okay.
There's no election.
Well, yes, we will have in March.
March.
Next March we will have, or February, I'm sorry.
A year away.
Okay,
But
so
it's
that'll
still
be
in
on this budget.
Though, it's still in this budget.
That'll be on this budget.
I don't understand how previously we were able to do things like in the deputy clerk's office so frugally at $65.50, and all of a sudden it's 15,000. I don't get it.
Because Sherry's spending a lot more time in there because I'm training her. That's why. Molly was only in there 1 or 2 days a week before.
And they got a pay raise last year,
I understand that.
so we could keep them, rather than go work at McDonald's. And they did not get a pay raise this year. So there's no pay raises here as far as figures go.
I'm just saying, I don't get it. And $15,000 just is way off the charts. I would consider 7,000, that would allow her for 9 hours in a week, if we're talking about where we were just at, but,
Where do you get 15,000? There's 2 spots for office help.
No, you got 50, he's talking about
we
deputy
brought
clerk,
up the
deputy
issue
clerk.
of our deputies also getting paid out of, so I went over to the deputy page, we just were talking about that money.
Well, I'm sure that won't get used this year.
So Sherry started what, in June? Was it in June? That-
Probably,
June,
yeah,
July,
It was
yeah.
June.
May,
So
June or
she's been
something.
on the job for 9 months.
right.
That is considered still a training period, 9 months in?
Pardon?
That's still a training period, 9 months in? Because I thought before Molly was training her, and that.
No, Molly
we
wasn't
discussed
really training her.
that she was, that she was gonna be all set
No,
on her
because
own.
the only thing Molly can do technically is the cemetery, because that, I had to get that
If
approved.
Sherry had some questions when I wasn't here, she would help her out, yeah.
Yes, she would help her out. That was a courtesy from the supervisor department.
That's, I think, a little dangerous line, because I'm telling you what the statutes say.
I know what
That
the
the
statute
deputy-
said, and you told me that Molly could only work with the cemetery,
Well-
which is what you guys approved.
That's exactly how it was explained to us. My point is that her statutory ability within this office is derived from your position, which is the supervisor. So having her do all this stuff under office help is dancing on the line of having a deputy supervisor with her hands in things that she doesn't have the statutory right to do, just like you could